This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good evening, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for May 12, 2023. And in the news this evening, residents concerned as the third killing leaves a Canaan area tense. At least one Canaan community member has indicated that she plans to leave after a third killing in 2 days has left the community under a cloud of fear. The deceased has been identified as 25-year-old Trevon Stoddart of a Smithfield district address in Westmoreland. The police report that about 9 p.m., residents stumbled on the body and raised an alarm. When the police arrived, Stoddart was found with his throat slashed and multiple chop wounds all over his body. There are no rumors that the man was killed because he was a stranger in the space, as the perpetrators of the act have allegedly declared that they don't want any strange men in the area. His death comes just 1 day after 2 men were shot and killed in the area after armed men invaded the space on a motorcycle. The dead men have been identified as Andre Brown and Romaine Melville, a farmer of the Canaan community. Those deaths follow on that of another double murder which took place on April 16. A community resident says that she is worried the situation will get much worse and is now thinking she needs to leave the space that she calls home. The place not safe anymore. I don't live so close to where the incidents happen, but I think I might have to move because it looks like up here is going to turn upside down, she told the news. I don't want to get caught in it. Right now, me nervous because I don't know what to look out for next. Manchester police on high alert following incidents of sexual assault and break-in. The Manchester police have confirmed the sexual assault of 2 women in the parish over the last 2 weeks after their homes were broken into. It is reported that the victims were also robbed of cash and their cellular phones. Although the police have reported that they see no pattern of women being the key targets of robberies in the parish, they say the incidents which happened in the Balvenie Heights and the Dunrobin communities of Mandeville are of major concern. And while residents have mentioned other alleged incidents of rape and break-in in the area, the police say they have not received those reports. Crime officer for the parish, Dennis Simpson, is appealing to persons who are victims of a crime to ensure they file a report at the nearest police station. We are meeting with the citizens now and having our community meetings, and we will use this as an opportunity to brief them in this regard, he said. He indicated that the necessary steps continue to be taken to ensure the safety of residents and the strong leads are being followed to find the perpetrators. One resident told the news she was fearful. I don't know what is happening, but I just want it to stop. I don't feel safe and I may need to move, but sometimes you don't even know where to go. I am just hoping the police can have increased the patrols and to put a cap on these break-ins and to know this rape issue. We don't want this to become a trend, she said. 2 shot and injured as gang violence erupts in Mount Salem. A reprisal attack stemming from a deadly gang warfare which erupted in Mount Salem, St. James on Monday has resulted in 2 men being shot and seriously wounded at the intersection of Cottage Road and the Mount Salem Main Road in Montego Bay on Thursday night. Both victims, a taxi operator and a musician, have been admitted to hospital. It is reported that about 9 p.m., the taxi operator was transporting passengers from downtown Montego Bay towards Mount Salem when armed men traveling in a station wagon motorcar blocked their path. The men alighted from the vehicle and opened fire on the taxi, hitting both men multiple times before speeding away from the scene. The police were summoned and upon arrival, the wounded men were transported to the Cornwall Regional Hospital where they were treated and admitted in serious condition. Thursday's incident followed the shooting deaths of 3 men from the area this week. Man gunned down at construction site in Hopewell. An elderly construction worker was gunned down at a site in Hopewell, Hanover this afternoon. A woman who was nearby was hit in the gun attack and is now in hospital. The incident happened about 1 p.m. along Crabwood Road in Hopewell. It is reported that the senior citizen, who is from the community of Mount Pelier in Sandy Bay in the parish, was carrying out work at the construction site when armed men came up and opened fire. The elderly man was shot multiple times. He is the 3rd person to be shot and killed in less than a week in Hopewell. Gunmen have been creating havoc in the relatively quiet community. Woman who set a sleeping spouse on fire gets a life sentence. Sarita Housen Blair, the woman who doused her spouse with a gas and set him on fire resulting in his death, will have to serve at least 18 years in prison for her crime. Housen Blair was given the mandatory sentence of life in prison and ordered to serve 18 years before she is eligible for parole. The punishment is in line with a plea agreement her lawyer struck with the prosecutors. The sentence was imposed by Justice Vaughn Smith in the Home Circuit Court in downtown Kingston on Friday. Housen Blair pleaded guilty to murder on February 9 for the gruesome death of her common-law partner, Kenton Brown, on May 27, 2017. Dressed in a black blouse and a skirt, she sobbed in the prisoner's box as her attorney pleaded with Smith for leniency and mercy. Among the evidence, prosecutors Andrea Martin Swaby and Shanique Farquharson had lined up for Housen Blair's murder trial were transcripts of a deathbed interview Brown gave a police constable in which he detailed the late-night attack. "Me go wake up to find myself in a fire with the woman stand over me," he recounted to the constable hours after the May 23, 2017 attack inside the couple's St. Andrew home. The interview was cut short after Brown, a father of 2 children, aged 7 and 10 years old at the time, began shaking violently, the constable recounted. "Officer, take care of me 2 pitney, because them no have nobody," said the cop, recounting Brown's last words to him. Brown succumbed to his injuries 4 days later. Man reportedly shot by cop during brawl with Higgler. 2 men are reportedly nursing injuries they sustained in a brawl in Anota Bay on Thursday after the subsequent intervention of a member of the police force. According to news sources, an off-duty detective went to the Hotspot restaurant to purchase lunch. Upon entering the establishment, he saw 32-year-old Higgler Ricardo Williams and the 19-year-old Marquez Hart of Purcell Lane, both from Anota Bay, engaged in a brawl. Reports are that Williams had received a stab wound to his right shoulder. The cop intervened and asked both men to stop fighting. His plea was ignored, and it is alleged that Hart continued to stab Williams. The lawman then pulled his licensed firearm and shot Hart in his left leg. Both men were taken to hospital, where they were admitted in stable condition. The police officer was reportedly relieved of his licensed firearm. The Independent Commission of Investigations is expected to launch an investigation. Construction worker slapped with multiple charges after bar robbery. A 26-year-old man was arrested and charged in connection to a robbery of $260,000 at a bar on Littis Main Road in St. Elizabeth on Sunday, April 30. Charged is Zodane Pottinger, otherwise called Andre, a construction worker of Riversdale Crawl, St. Catherine. Pottinger has been charged with robbery with aggravation, shooting with intent, possession of prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and using a firearm to commit a felony. Reports from the Spanish Town Police are that 3 armed men entered a bar and robbed $260,000, an assortment of alcoholic beverages, and a cell phone. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.